Hello guys, I'm here with Chris and we are going to start doing some videos for 3Commas platform. Chris is very knowledgeable. He's been working in 3Commas platform for many years. I'm very impressed with all the knowledge, the technical knowledge and the level of detail that he can cover is really impressive. How are you, Chris, today?
I'm fine, thanks, Mariano. It's a real pleasure to join you and all your viewers on this channel. Hopefully we will have some very short but informational videos coming along regarding features in the 3Commas platform and the sort of questions that people have been asking and may not be easily sort of covered in the help guides we already have. And we can explore more sort of difficult subjects, the approaches that you can use with 3Commas that aren't so easy to find just by experimenting by yourself.
Yes, so guys, so make sure you subscribe the 3Commas channel because we're going to start doing a series of videos and going in different levels of detail. Whenever we have content that is very in detail, very in-depth in terms of technicals, we are also considering to publish some videos in the Trading Parrot video channel as well. So the guys that are more interested in more in depth, you can go to that channel. If you want something more user friendly, we're going to publish it always in the 3Commas channel. So for today, we have some content that actually I was requesting Chris because he's got insights from the developers in how the deal start conditions on DCA bots actually work. That's an information that I spent quite a lot of time to try to reverse engineer to understand actually exactly what the bots are doing. When are they opening deals? What happens when you mix different timeframes of deal start conditions? And this is extremely valuable when you are designing a bot to understand how they really work. So for today, we have cherry-picked actually the three most used at the moment, the most popular indicators that people are using to start their DCA bots. Those are RSI, the technical ratings, which is the TB, buy or sell that everybody loves, and the newly introduced MACD. So should we start with the RSI? By the way, Chris, is this the RSI 7 or the 14th that is more popular at the moment, do you think?
I think most people, when they come to trading, they learn with the RSI 14. People do use RSI 21, for example, but it seems to be rarer that people use that. A lot of the big crypto YouTuber channels and the influencers, they all tend to use RSI 14. However, 3Commas has always supported RSI 7. It triggers much more frequent signals and can be very good when price is trending, so that you actually get these quick signals for scalping with your bots. RSI 14 has recently been added, so for those traders that have been asking for that, it's now available in the platform, and really you can choose whichever you feel the most comfortable with or suits the specific trading requirements or strategy that you want to employ with your bots.
So at the moment, I'm very excited with the introduction of RSI 14. And the reason is because it's slower to react and actually waits a little bit more for confirmation of levels that are very oversold. So that is very useful if you're, in my case, when I'm trying to buy the dip in a zone that I think there will be a potential reversal. So I prefer to wait for the RSI on the 4-hour, like here, for example, we see a very good bounce. It's not always guaranteed, but in my case, for this use case, I prefer to use, for example, the 4-hour RSI and on the 14th rather than the 7th.
And I'd like to say, Mariano, that it's really interesting that you've got all three of these indicators on your chart at once, because this is what professional traders do when they're creating a strategy for their bots. They don't just blindly rely on one indicator as the magic bullet for their bots for successful trades. It's often by combining different indicators that you can really get more confidence with your signals and try and avoid bad signals. We know that if you can trade and close deals more than 50% of the time in a profit, then over time that will build up and you'll be a very profitable trader. And it's how you then refine that so that you can, so if you've got 51% of all deals closing in profit, 49% aren't. Now they can either be left open or they're being closed with a stop loss. If you can work towards reducing that just 1% or 2%, or 3%, that can make a huge difference to the amount of profits that you'll get in the long term with your bots. So it's very, very important that you start looking at these indicators, put them on the chart, view them, see how they interact with the price movements, with the candles, you know, and you'll be able to actually use the signals combined to help you avoid false positives or bad signals.
One of the things I have noticed that many people in the platform and people that are subscribed to my community as well, that they struggle to understand is when you mix different timeframes from different deal start conditions. Like hypothetically, if you have, for example, an RSI on the daily below 30, and then you have another RSI on the daily, on the 1 hour below 30, and then below 30 as well on the 3 minutes. When you put different time frames, people start getting confused. How often should I expect the deal to start? Which one is the one that matters? And when does the higher time frames of those three gets calculated, so I can put it in a chart and then confidently say that my strategy is being followed in the same manner when I'm running the bot? That is very difficult to understand from outside, because obviously we don't see the code behind the implementation of deal start condition. But as I understand, you have been able to have more exposure last week. And are you able to tell us a little bit more insight on how that works on 3Commas?
Yes, so in general, all of the deal start conditions for the 3Commas bots, they are all triggered on candle close. So that means for the current candle that you can see on the chart that's being created at the moment, we are looking at the last value from the previous candle. So at the moment we're on a red candle with the chart, but the previous candle to it is a green one. And so if your bot was triggered from the RSI signal, it would be looking at the red candle. Or
yes. So for example, here we are in the 4-hour chart and we are using RSI 14 and it's calculating using the close. So this is something that is currently supported on 3Commas.
If I could just take control for 30 seconds, it's easier to explain it when we're on the latest candle, because you can see this candle is still being drawn. In fact, we'll go down to 1 minute so we can actually see these candles moving in real time. So this candle is not formed yet. We don't know what position the indicator will be in or what value it is going to be in when it does eventually close. So when you're triggering a bot deal, we want to know that the RSI was at that level prior to the signal being generated to start a new bot trade. So we can see this candle was green a minute ago. It's now red. So we can't take the live data from the candles, because if this candle now moves all the way down quite a bit, it will trigger the RSI. And then if price recovers before the candle closes, the signal will have been triggered and started a bot deal. But when you look back later, you'll be saying, well, why did the bot start the deal on that candle? And it's because at that point in time when the trade started, the value for the RSI was at the value you had set in the bot, but then it reversed because the candle hadn't closed. So it's very important that we actually take the signal from the previously closed candle, because we know the RSI value is set in stone at that point. And it can't change because it's part of the historical data.
That makes sense. And actually, one important outcome of that as well is that if you are in a higher time frame, for example, here we are on the 4-hour, once this candle closes, the RSI value is going to settle and you're going to capture it on 3Commas. So the platform is going to keep a note of RSI 4-hour was this level, and for the whole lifetime of the next candle, that value is going to remain the same.
Exactly.
So if you're running a bot on this next candle that is still forming, the RSI value that you're using is from the close of the previous candle. So when it was confirmed, the value gets stored on the 3Commas platform and remains there. So when you start mixing different timeframes, you're going to have the RSI value settled from the previous 4-hour candle throughout this whole candle, the new candle forming. And if you start mixing with lower timeframes, then you have to be checking that both conditions are applying at the same time.
Exactly.
And when you're using the MACD and I'm going long on a bot, what is precisely the actual trigger that I should wait for here in the chart, consistent with what 3Commas is doing?
Sure. So we can actually put an arrow. This is like the perfect MACD signal. It's right here. If we can get this arrow to draw.
Oh, you can use this.
There we go. That's better. So it's right on that cross there. So we're below the center line, the 0 line. We have a cross where the blue line, the signal line, has crossed above the slower moving average. And because it's below the 0 line, that means momentum is now moving up. And so if we actually have a look at the chart here where that signal would have been triggered, we can see we may have had a reasonable scalp. But I think you're on the 4 hour, so that'd be a little bit more than a scalp from when the signal was triggered.
Yeah.
So we go there from the candle close, go to the peak. 7% is a good trade. That would have been a good trade.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. It will take a day and a half, something like that, but it's very good profit.
So again, we have another example here of across to the downside. We're above the 0 line, and the MACD lines have moved. They're heading down, and they've crossed. The signals crossed the slower moving average, and we can see here, if we'd entered a trade, it would actually be quite nice, and we'd still be in the trade at the moment, because you can use or leave it until the MACD crosses again to exit the trade. But if you have something like trading take profit enabled, then you would be able to stay in the trade a little bit longer, depending on your settings. On a 4 hour time frame, you're not scalping for 0.5% in price move. But again, that's another 7% to the downside there, and price may continue falling. So the nice thing with the MACD, it also gives you these green and red bars, and they will tell you the momentum, how much power is behind the move. So if you've got the big green candles sort of moving up on the MACD, then that shows that there's a lot more momentum going with that direction of the move. And when you go over to the red side, you can see the same thing. As price continues to fall down on the chart above with the candlesticks, we can see the momentum is sort of picking up as price moves further down. When you start getting the lighter colors like the pink or the light green, that means that the momentum has eased up, and it may be time that there's at least a reversal or some sort of temporary bounce in price.
You're covering exactly my next question, which it might be is not yet possible to do. We have pretty good coverage in terms of deal start conditions. And in terms of taking profits, we have the webhook that we can send to the bot to close a deal, or we have the actual take profit or stop losses percentages levels. But is there any way to work around in the platform to be able to close the deal with another bot? I always had that question. Like, for example, you can have a long bot on Cardano here. We are trading and we enter a position. Can we use the short signal on a short bot running concurrently with the long bot to actually close the trade when the conditions are convenient to close?
That is a great question. And recently we have been sending out surveys to users asking which features would you like to see? How would you like to see the platform develop? And we got a lot of feedback from a lot of users, which is really good, to say that they would like to have the ability for the bots to be able to close deals using signals. And so it's certainly something that we're working on at the moment. It's not possible to do it within 3Commas yet. You can do it with a custom trading view signal, as Mariano's just said, but we can't do that within platform just yet, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I love to see that. And when you start using signals to close a deal, the next concern that I will expect from people to have is what happens if the close deal signal from the technical is triggering at the point where I'm at a loss, as opposed to being in profit. Of course, everybody wants to enter a trade like the one you're drawing here and then get another bearish cross somewhere or a loss in momentum and then say, well, the technicals are telling me to take profit. But what happens if this doesn't play out? You get a bear cross very quickly and then you're waiting for a sell signal, and unfortunately you get the sell signal when you are big in loss and you were not intending to close at a loss, you wanted just to hold. So will there be a way to say, okay, this is the deal close condition, but I don't want to close in loss?
I would say when you're trading using signals, at least those from TradingView that you've created yourself, it's always wise to set a take profit value in your bot and a stop loss setting in your bot, and maybe enable stop loss timeout, because you always need that safety that what if the internet goes down and the signals aren't sent from TradingView to 3Commas, or if there's an issue somewhere and the alert is missed. So it's always worth having a hard stop loss set in your bot, and use the stop loss timeout just to make sure a wick doesn't trigger it, and have a hard take profit setting configured. And even if you intend to use the signals to start a trade, close a trade, and also maybe as a stop loss, it just gives you that extra layer of security there. But I think a lot of people may think that you can only use the TradingView alerts to start deals, be it long or short deals, but you can do a lot more with them. You can use it for example, combined with ATR to have a dynamic stop loss and use that for your stop loss. Really, it's the limit is your imagination as to what you can do with that.
This is music to my ears. I mean, ATR as a stop loss or as a take profit is something that I always dreamed of having with 3Commas. So if you guys thinking about implementing that, it's just incredibly good for us as traders. So this, Chris, are very good insights. I'm really learning a lot more that I honestly didn't know about the platform. It's very important for us also to know from you guys, what would you like to know about all these indicators? How do they work? Or if you want to know more things about the platform in detail, Chris has a lot of information. And I've been asking you, Chris, constantly, because now I have the chance to speak to you and learn so much more. And some videos that we could do, for example, are preferred indicators when you're trading, if you're doing bots as well, or if you're doing manual trading, which indicators you like the most, or what are the upcoming new ones that the team is currently working on them, and how are they going to work for us? So all those things are pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just nice to be able to interact with people and hear what they're thinking and share some experiences, because I've been using 3Commas for pretty much over 3 years now, and I've learned a lot along the way, and not just from my technical trading or from use of 3Commas, but the psychology of trading. It sounds so stupid, but it's so important. And one thing that I used to do when I first started with 3Commas was shoot for I think it was like 0.15% take profit. And now when you start doing your taxes and you're looking back at 90,000 transactions in a year, you're thinking to yourself, was that, $500 of profit over the entire year of trading? Was it really worth it? It just turns out to be a real headache. So
exactly.
My attitude and approach to trading, especially using 3Commas, has totally evolved now. And yeah, I sort of look for the bigger trades, the bigger deals, easier to manage. But it's not to say that you can't be successful with a scalping strategy, but you'll find that you'll have to put a lot more time and management into working on your strategy and finding the perfect one. And just when you think you've got the perfect strategy, the market conditions will change. So you'll need to develop another strategy. Maybe you're moving from a bullish market to a bearish market, or the market's consolidating. So ideally, you need to have 3 strategies that you can break out at any time, depending on what the market is doing, and then you can capitalize. But it's down to you. If your time management allows for that, then by all means go for it. It's exciting, it's interesting, it's challenging. You have to use your intelligence to be able to do this, so it can be very rewarding when you get it right. Sure.
I have to say, I'm really enjoying in 3Commas to do longer timeframes strategies, something that is almost self-managed. For example, if you're aiming to catch RSIs at discount and you have the funds that you want to deploy into certain assets, why not doing it with a bot? It really, you can set it up and then check every few days if orders are getting filled. When the market is looking flaky, you can capitalize on lots of opportunities that people don't see, because people are constantly thinking in the high risk, high throughput of deals, and all of them closing very quick, and that sometimes is
that's a great strategy when the market is bullish or it's extremely bearish, and you're trading on futures. That is, when the market's bearish, having quick scalping bots that are taking 0.5% or 1% is fantastic. And it's knowing when to start them and when to stop the bots, not when to start or stop individual trades, when to actually start and stop the bots. When the market looks bearish, you have them running fast, quick scalping deals. When the market stops looking bearish, you stop those bots. And it's the same when it's a bull market. Anybody can make money in a bull market. You just buy something and hold it for long enough and it'll be in profit. So it's learning to identify those changes in trend in the market, and then having your bots configured that you can just turn on with a button click and they just all start making deals, and 99% of them are profitable, at least over a period of about a week or so. It's when the market starts changing that if you're running too many deals, you're overexposed. That's when you can end up getting stuck with bags and red bot deals that stay that way for a long time. And I'm sure we can actually do a whole video, a whole stream on how to deal with red bot deals, because there are things that you can do. There are strategies that you can employ that you may have not thought about that that will help you recover those trades and either reduce your risk in the trades or close them out entirely in profit. So I would look forward to doing a stream on that, actually. I think that would benefit a lot of people.
Oh, yes. I would love to hear that from you. I mean, it's always good to have new ideas on how to deal with different of the problems that we all face when we are running bots. And one point that you mentioned there resonates a lot me. In the past year, lots of people have been telling me, but what are we going to do when we enter a bear market? These bots are never going to work in a bear market. And I think at the moment, my strategy is I have bots for bullish market. I have bots for bear market, and now I even have bots for transition. So when you're thinking, we are very overextended, we're getting lots of divergences in the daily, in the 4-hour, some flags are flagging red by now. Maybe I'm gonna reduce my exposure and prepare the catastrophe bots, the ones that are capable of catching at very big discount and then sell on the dead cat bounce. Well, Chris, thank you very much for joining me, and I'm really looking forward to this series of videos. Hopefully we can do many more videos. I know that the amount of content that we can cover is limitless. I met Chris just a few weeks ago in a call, and every time we are chatting, we are chatting endlessly about trading stories and good opportunities, good setups and stuff like that. So that is really good. I'm sure you guys are gonna enjoy the content. There's so much information. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to join you.
Thanks very much, Chris. See you on the next one. Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.